Folklore, or the Try podcast, where we try not to have a podcast up. And today we are going to talk about Mike Winger. Gary, you want to tell us what Mike Winger is talking about?
Yes, so Mike Winger has been on this crusade against the charismatic church. Now, he has said
why is he against the charismatic church?
I don't know. Like, he started talking about this, like he's trying to deal with cover-up culture, what he calls cover-up culture. And that's partially true, but, he's mainly talking about the charismatic church when he brings this up. And
what exactly is the charismatic church?
Well, it's like, the speaking in tongues guys, the prophecy guys, Bethel. Brandon Biggs was part of that. Okay. Now, he was right on Brandon Biggs. I will eat crow and say Mike Winger was right on Brandon Biggs, and I was wrong, Cody. So...
So people like Daniel Adams, who talks. Have you heard of Daniel Adams?
I have not.
I'll have to show you something of his.
Yeah.
He's an apostle type person.
Okay.
And he believes in all the spiritual giftings.
Yeah.
And he can speak in tongues and cast out demons and all that. Do healings and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Mike Winger's been going on about the people in the charismatic movement. And I will admit that he was right about Biggs and I was wrong. I will eat crow and say that. I don't think he was right about Michael Brown, which is surprising to me because I wasn't a fan of Michael Brown, but when I saw his whole thing on Michael Brown, I thought this is ridiculous. So I don't like what he had to say about Michael Brown. I don't think that was fair at all. I think he was fair about Todd White. And so, I think the thing that bothers me a little bit about what he's doing is, sure, it's fine to go after the charismatic church if you don't agree with them, but to sit there and try to basically, I think he should have been a little more open about the fact that he was targeting the charismatic church instead of trying to call it cover-up culture, because really, all the denominations are going to do this to an extent. And so to sit there and try to I don't know. I don't know if he's trying to obfuscate hide the fact that he was, I don't know if he was trying to hide the fact that he was going after the charismatics because he wanted to reach charismatic people and warn them about these false teachers or something. I don't know exactly what he was thinking, but I don't really care for the way he's framed this whole thing personally. But, he's been right in some instances. I don't think he's been right in all of them. So, but he's got, I think this one is supposed to be kind of his main video on all these guys, broadly speaking, and he just came out with it today, and I haven't watched it all the way through, but I thought we would start watching it and react to it and kind of see, since there's a lot of preachers on his thumbnail, I'm assuming he's going to talk about this whole thing, this whole cover-up culture that he's been describing in a grander sense, so we can kind of have a little better idea of the scope of the problem he's referring to. Does that make sense?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, okay. So we're going to watch his newest video on the charismatic movement and the charismatic movement's cover-up culture. And we'll see what he has to say. And we will react accordingly. So let us begin.
This video is not for everybody, but it's very important, I think, especially for the charismatic church and for Christians in churches.
Were you going to say something, Trevor? Or did
I was talking to myself.
Oh, okay.
To deal with abuse, fraud, cover-up, and the devastating breadth of it all. Shawn Bolz, this guy right here, he was my white rabbit, okay? This guy was my white rabbit. He's the rabbit I chased down the rabbit hole to see how bad things are in cover-up culture inside the charismatic church. the connections to
Wait.
all these different figures and years.
Okay. Was he referring to himself as Neo? From
I don't know.
Matrix?
I think it was just an Alice in Wonderland reference.
Oh, Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Of stuff, generations of abusers, fraud, and cover up in the charismatic church. Shawn Bolz. So you're going to go down the same rabbit hole I went down. This started early last year, and I've spent the last year dealing with and talking to victims and people who've been hurt and gathering evidence. I've talked to many of the people that Shawn victimized and spiritually abused. I'm going to be sharing their stories. I have evidence that has never been seen by anybody before. I've gathered that evidence, and I'm going to be sharing it along with witness testimony from multiple people. His victims asked me to speak out on their behalf because the leaders in the charismatic church would not. And they participated, in my opinion, in cover-up culture. But that can change. I'm doing this for the charismatic church. I love you guys. I believe in the gifts. I'll tell you more about that in a second. But buckle up, because we're going to go deep into the rabbit hole, and you need to hear the details, because what happens is when someone like Shawn is exposed, everybody just washes their hands of it and acts like they had no part in it. And that's not true. And if we don't show the connections, then we can't fix the problems. So I've gathered the evidence that shows how cover-up culture handled it in the charismatic church. Not only Shawn Bolz, but many other situations.
I was checking Rumble, and I forgot what I was doing. Sorry.
About Shawn Bolz, the elites did, and they did nothing.
Your producer sucks. Just so you know, your producer's terrible. I was checking Rumble and forgot we were live. I'm an idiot.
I looked live and I was like, wait, you sure what you're doing?
My bad. I'm a moron. That's okay.
So I went to listen to it, and I was listening to it, and I was like, wait, oops.
Whoops, my bad. Anyway.
Thing as far as warning their people. They left their people in the dark, people who had been prophesied to, people who had been abused. They just left them alone or in the dark. This is going to be a long video. There will be timestamps down below to try to help you navigate things, because it will just get crazier and crazier. I will continue to unpack different scenarios, another witness, a different situation, tying it into another leader. This is just the way it's going to be. I hate this video. I hope you hate it too. This is all lame and terrible, and this is not my normal ministry stuff. I don't plan on continuing doing this forever. I just want to help the situation and then move on to back to Bible studies. That's my plan. So this is the story of lying in the name of God, of abusing the people of God, of domineering sexual harassment from Shawn Bolz, and not only the failure of respected leaders to warn and protect their own people, their followers, from Shawn Bolz, while they had previously propped him up as a prophet to them, but the fact that their system of leadership inside, not every charismatic, most of them would be appalled by the things I'm about to share with you. But there is a system amongst the elites that is dangerous. And their system of leadership, it's in a culture of cover-up, it not only makes it so that they can't deal with someone like Shawn Bolz, a predator in their midst, but it actually creates them in the first place. It raises them up. They have a system of revival culture and a way of handling prophecy that I believe creates men like this over and over again, and it's going to keep happening over and over again. So I'm hoping to bring positive reform into the charismatic church. You may not agree with everything I share in this video. Those of you who are charismatics, especially leaders watching this, fine. But glean what you can. Find what you can that is beneficial to you, and please consider how to stop this stuff from happening again inside your own fellowships and to your own people, because it's not worth revival culture to victimize your own people and put them in front of fake prophets and tell them about fake healings and all this other stuff. It has to stop, and it has to stop now. So I think this video will help that. I do believe it. That's why I'm doing it, for the benefit and blessings of the charismatic church. So I'm exposing a whole bunch of corruption inside the charismatic church. It has to be done. Because I've done this series of videos now, and I'll continue with this series for a while, then I'll stop the series, get back to Bible studies, and I will be very happy to do that. Because of that, though, there is going to be slander coming against me personally, because, shoot the messenger kind of thing.
Yes, sir.
Do you personally think it is right or wrong to expose this type of teaching?
I think if there's corruption, yes. Like if it's real, if it's really going on, then yeah. I think you've got to. I think he's doing, if he's right about what's happening, then yes, he's right to expose it.
Okay.
I don't have any issue with them ethically, from an ethical standpoint, doing this. I think it's necessary, and I wish it were done more, because I think this is an issue that's spread throughout a lot of ministries, and more people doing this would go a long way to curtail that. That being said, I mean, there's been instances where I feel like he's kind of been, like, the Todd White stuff was fair, but it wasn't I didn't feel like it was as scandalous as he made it out to be. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he's at times kind of hit things that are kind of pedantic, that aren't that big a deal. But there's been other times where it's like, oh yeah, that's a problem. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah. This person should not be teaching.
Well, his Benny Hinn thing was entirely appropriate. Like, he needed to go after Benny Hinn 110%, and somebody should have done it years ago. So he was absolutely right to go after Benny Hinn. I don't have any, as far as I can remember, I don't have any complaints with how he dealt with Benny Hinn at all.
Okay.
I guess he was in the right for going after Biggs, but I didn't see it at the time because I thought maybe Biggs was legit.
You mean Trump's prophet?
Yeah, Trump's prophet. So anyway, but then on the other hand, he was 100. In my opinion, he was 110% wrong to go after Michael Brown. I thought that was beneath him. I did not appreciate that he did that. And I'm not a fan of Brown. I think I've said that many, many times.
Yeah.
But, it's that one wasn't fair. I don't think that one was fair. I don't think that one was right in any capacity. So he's been very strongly in the right and very strongly in the wrong, in my opinion, with this video series that he's done. It's been both. What do you think?
The reason I ask about this type of content is because in the Bible, I don't remember where, but it does talk about exposing your fellow faith person. You first. How's it go? You first.
There's a protocol for dealing with people in the church when there's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, one-on-one, and then if they ignore you, then you take it to their elders.
Right. Yeah.
And then after that, then you expose them to the people.
Yeah.
That's why I ask about it. Do you think doing it this way is right or wrong?
If he's done what he said he's done in the past, he usually tries to reach out to these guys privately. I'm under the impression that he tries to reach out in-house before he does a video like this as a habit.
Yeah, that's why he says he talks to people.
Yeah.
Under the... Okay.
Yeah, so I think he's trying to go through the proper channels first, and then if nothing gets resolved, he'll make a video about it. But in the Michael Brown situation,
he jumped the gun on that one.
Well, he talked to Brown. Brown gave his side of the story, and then I don't remember the dude's name he was talking to, but he went. Then Mike went and listened to the other guy that was saying all these accusations more loudly than the women, I might add. Of course, the women might have been scared. I mean, who knows? But he believed the accuser over Brown's account. And I didn't see a good reason to do that when I watched his video. It just seems like, to be blunt, it felt like an inquisition in Brown's case. It was like, you're guilty, you're guilty, confess. But there was never any real evidence as to why they knew he was guilty. It was like they assumed his guilt. And because he didn't confess to their satisfaction, they made a public video. And so, you've kind of got that kind of, I don't know what you'd call it. they had assumed he was guilty and they weren't satisfied with his version of stuff. They just didn't believe him, even though there was conflicting reports. And some of the details were just, like small, little stuff. Like I think Brown, because Brown was, the stuff that he fessed up to is he was writing out his fantasies of this girl, and she came across them, and the account as to how she came across them differed, which it would make sense. Brown, the way that they differed made sense. Brown didn't know how she got it. He just assumed that she was, rummaging through the house because she's bored. Yeah. And then she said that they were writing notes back and forth, and she was going to leave him a note and came across the letter. Now, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. I don't know. Wasn't there. Insert disclaimer here. Brown's explanation makes more sense than hers, because why in the world would she leave a letter anywhere where the wife could have found it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That doesn't make sense. So I think it's more likely that she was rummaging around because she was bored and then she didn't want to admit it, so she came up with the letter story. But even if that's not the case, it's conceivable that Brown might have not put the letter thing together and just assumed she was rummaging through the house. I mean, obviously the girl didn't tell him that was what she did. So he just assumed it, and then she actually was writing him a letter and he didn't put two and two together, or something like that. Like, it's easy to see how those two different kinds of stories could have happened. That's not Brown lying, or at least there's not enough proof there to say Brown was lying, and yet Mike Winger was insisting that he was lying. And so stuff like that, I kind of have a problem with, because there needed to be an investigation. There was an investigation. The group that did the investigating sided with Brown. They weren't happy with it. They were calling it cover culture. And really, that video was a response to the investigation having an outcome they didn't like, in my opinion. And so the Brown one was bad. I can't say that the others were, like the Todd White one was a little pedantic, but overall true and correct. It was pedantic in places, but not pedantic throughout, if that makes sense. And the others, as far as I can remember, again, including the Brandon Biggs one, they were right. They were right. So, okay. So anyway, I don't know how this one's going to go, so I'm a little curious to see, because it's kind of been a little bit of both with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll see, but I'm interested, because I think this is kind of a culmination of all the work he's been doing over the past year or so. So I'm a little curious to see what he's concluded. Yeah, where he goes with it.
So I just want to make a couple things really clear. I believe in the gifts. I'm not advocating against the use of the gifts of the Spirit, of prophecy or tongues or any of those things, as long as they're done biblically and properly, which that I'm advocating for, and that does not often happen. I'm making no money from these videos, right? What I mean here is that the on YouTube, there's no monetization on these videos. All these charismatic, cover up culture videos I'm making, there's zero monetization. So it can make 1 million views. It will not make me any money. The money doesn't go to me anyways. It goes to the ministry, and it doesn't affect my paycheck. I don't get like a ratio raise when there's more ad revenue that comes in. We have minimal ads because that you should on YouTube, or else YouTube doesn't promote your content as much. But this has to be done. And I'm not here to destroy the church. I'd actually like to see Shawn repent, and I'd be so happy if any of the people I'm talking about repent, and I will champion them being forgiven and them being seen as cleansed by the Lord if there's real repentance. But the problem is these guys fake it all the time. They fake repentance all the time. So we need proof. Here I'm trying to follow what the Bible tells us to do. In 1 Timothy 5:19-20, it says the first part that the charismatic church is already doing, it says, do not admit a charge against an elder. But they don't read the rest of it usually. It says, except on the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. As for those who persist in sin, distance yourself from them. No, that's not what it says. Pretend that you have no part in their ministry, or you didn't raise them up. No, that's not what it says. It says, rebuke them in the presence of all, so that the rest may stand in fear. That is, This kind of rebuke, what I'm bringing right now about Shawn Bolz, it's meant to cause all of the people, all of the leaders to go, I better walk right. I better not manipulate. I better not fake my prophecies. I better not exaggerate my spiritual experiences. I better not do any of that stuff. And we need that kind of reform in the charismatic church. Big time. Okay. Let's go down the rabbit hole.
Sweet Baby Bronson says, how you guys doing this beautiful night? We're doing well. Doing well. We got a little bit of an energy, a little pep in our step tonight.
Thank you.
So, how are you? I trust you. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. I'm particularly happy that we managed to get that Rumble stream up. That makes me a happy boy.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Is it still rolling?
It's still rolling. Somehow, nothing's messed up. It's great. So,
is there any commentators over there?
No. Of course, can't switch over right now because I'm producing the video. Otherwise, we'll have the same mess up as before. All right.
Can't be any worse than my productions.
No, I have plenty far to fall, believe me.
Shawn Bolz. This is the guy, Shawn Bolz. He's the guy that hears from God or pretends to hear from God, no matter who it hurts. Shawn doesn't come off like a highbrow prophet, though. He was like the boy wonder. I'll tell you more about this. I'll tell you more about everything. It's all coming out today. Text messages, secret recording, multiple witnesses. It's all coming out. I've been sitting on this stuff for a while now, and it's time. So he doesn't come off like a highbrow prophet. Shawn comes off like a normal dude.
Sweet Baby Bronson says, I'm chilling. Ha-ha. Sounds good, man. Awesome.
Chilling like a feeling.
Dude. But he's one who's literally getting revelation from God on a continual basis. That's the thing. I'm just a normal guy, but man, he hears from God. He can tell you without ever meeting you. He will tell you your birthday, your street address, how many kids you have, the name of your pet, where your mom lives, and other private information. He'll tell you about things that you've done recently or hopes that you have in your heart. And he says it's all coming from God. He's like, I've never met you, but I know your number, but I know your name, the Lord showed me the name of your dog. It's Maverick. I know it. And you go, and you think, wow, he's really speaking to me. God's speaking to me. So he convinced through this, what is ultimately a gimmick, he convinced countless people that he was a prophet. This was especially true when Bill Johnson platformed him at Azusa Now. This platforming was a big deal.
Sweet Baby Bronson.
Here, let me show it to you.
Sweet Baby Bronson asks, who is Turtle Chief? LOL. Turtle Chief is Trevor. Yeah. It's his nickname. Yeah. So he goes by, what's your video game handle, I believe, for Call of Duty or something?
That's my gaming handle. Turtle Chief.
Yeah, see, he games. I don't because I'm a nerd. So.
At this event in 2016, this is where Bill Johnson that's Bill Johnson on stage there with Shawn Bolz in front of countless people in this stadium and probably millions who saw it online. This event was a big thing. He gets up there and he starts calling people out. We'll look at some videos of this later. Calling people out in the audience. He calls out a name. He tells them their life story. He tells them God's calling them to be a missionary to this place and go here. And it was just an amazing, amazing event. Look at how Bill introduced him, because I want us to understand that Bill Johnson has responsibility for Shawn Bolz.
But we're also weaving in the...
So, Sweet Baby Bronson says, oh, cool, LOL. You have anything to add to that conversation, Mr. Trevor?
You're cool.
You're cool.
Your whole family's cool.
Well, there you go. That ain't saying much since we're cousins, but anyway.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Prophetic. And one of our dearest friends, one of our most trusted friends, is Shawn Bolz. And the Lord's shown him several things.
That's how he got introduced. Why? Because people know and trust Bill Johnson. Bill Johnson is one of the most respected leaders in the charismatic church right now. He is seen as a safe man, a man who is gentle, who is incredibly loving, who never says a bad word about anybody. This is his reputation. Like you'll never hear him say a bad word about a single human being in his entire life, which of course makes it so that his congregation would think a video like what I'm doing is inherently wrong because Bill's such a nice guy. So it's an interesting method of self-protection, if you ask me. But Bill introduces him this way.
See, that's one thing I don't like about Mike Winger. is he sits there and he infers these kind of motives, and I don't think he's very fair a lot of the time. Because it's like, well, he's such a nice guy. It must be a cover.
Oh.
Come on, guy. Come on. Maybe he just
He
believes
does
it.
seem.
I mean,
He
like
does seem rather nervous about this.
Well, I feel like he hides his contempt. He tries. I think he has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder about the charismatic movement. I mean, I have no loyalty. I have no loyalty to it either. I don't know much about it, frankly. I went to a charismatic church for a while. That was years ago. But, you know, I think he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and he tries to hide it, but it kind of leaks out from time to time. Yeah. And, I mean, I'm sorry, but it's like, dude, come on. Maybe he's just a nice guy who's wrong. You don't know if it's a cover. Don't say stuff like that, man. In my opinion. Oh, what do you think?
I think there's missing context. I kind of want to get into it more before I make a final decision.
Well, we will do that.
Now, at the same time, it was not too long after this where Chris Valentin, his number 2 guy at Bethel, was texting one of the victims of Shawn Bolz, and he told him and showed him the following. Let me put it on your screen. This was in January 9th of 2021. He says, I told him, Shawn Bolz, he needs to clean up his mess before he has a relationship with any of our people. I've also told our entire team that they are not to not minister with Shawn or have him in any of their ministries. I've also had a conversation with Bethel Music leadership team and told them about the Shawn situation. They've agreed to ban him from their ministry. I'm going to show you more of that text conversation later on in this video, but this is what has gone on. There has been the endorsement, then there was the distancing privately, but yet in 2023, Bill Johnson goes public again, and they've never, at this point in the timeline, they never made a public statement about Shawn Bolz being any kind of problem. But in 2023, Bill Johnson goes with Shawn Bolz on TBN, and he says the following about Shawn.
But Bill, you wrote the foreword to this book. It's called Translating God, Hearing God's Voice for Yourself and the World Around You. But you wrote that this was one of the most exciting books that you had read. Why was that?
Well, the book by itself is incredible. Knowing the life that backs it up adds a power to it because it's so practical. It's what you dream of. It's like if you could see, if you could have a perfect relationship with the Lord and see its impact on humanity, that's what it would look like. I get excited knowing that we could actually raise up generations of people to do the same thing.
We'll go all the way into the rabbit hole today, but Bill endorsing him like this, you will see very clearly, was an atrocious and evil act. Atrocious and evil.
Yeah, okay, why? Like, I guess
why?
he said he's going to go into a second, but I'm already starting to get my hair prickled up on the back of my neck. Again, I haven't watched this far, so I haven't prepared my statement here, but already I'm seeing we've already canceled them. Okay, number one, anytime somebody says the word canceled, I immediately go, oh, well, I know what team you play for, and I instantly don't trust you. You know what I mean?
What team does he play for?
The commies.
Oh.
The commies. And if somebody uses the word cancel like it's a good thing, yeah, prepare for a struggle session. So, anyway, so I'm already like suspicious because that word was used. And I'm sitting here going, I've told Mike. He's sitting there going, I've told our team to have nothing to do with him. And he has all this like salacious text in a message, but he hasn't told you what the guy did or why they're that upset. He's given no context. This is just insinuation.
There's no context at this point.
This is insinuation. This is meant, or at least it looks like it's meant to make you go, oh, he must be really bad. They're awfully upset. And I'm like, yeah, or the word canceled suggests feigned outrage.
Or just straight up calling them evil. It's
Yeah.
like, well,
Did he do
a
some...
lot of people have done bad things, but they thought they were doing good. That doesn't make them evil. They just messed up.
Well, you don't know. It's like, okay, did he rob a bank or did he keep his church open during COVID? I mean, you don't know what he did. Good night. I don't like it when people stuff. And he's like, oh, this is a really evil act. And it's like, okay, well, you gotta tell us what the act is before you start saying this stuff, because it looks like you're just trying to make him look really, really bad. And you're gonna, after hyping it up for 10 minutes, you're gonna say something kind of not that big a deal.
Bring it all together.
Something as pedantic as, he met with a woman alone in a Walmart parking lot.
Yeah.
You know.
He
Because
slept in the same house as a homeless woman.
yeah, or some just something that looks bad that may or may not be bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, Sweet Baby Bronson says it's 60 degrees out here right now. That sounds nice. It is 16 here.
Yeah. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm inside shivering.
Are you really?
Yeah, because where I'm at in this office, there's no central heating and air.
Oh.
So the floor is actually really cold right now.
See, I got a heater plugged up and it's blowing hot air right on my calves or on my shins. So,
I should probably do that.
Yeah,
Time.
that's how I stay warm. Is I just have a heater blowing hot air on me, and it, kind of levels everything out when it gets cold. But anyway, so all right, moving on.
He set him up as a prophet to the world. He later had Chris Valentin, under his ultimate leadership, calling Shawn Bolz, going, he needs to be pulled out of ministry. He cannot do any events with us. He can't be anywhere near our team. But publicly, they wouldn't say a word about him. And when they were asked about it, they made it sound like it was sort of nebulous and who knows what's really wrong with this guy. Then Bill goes and endorses him.
Well, the book by itself is incredible. Knowing the life that backs it up adds
in California.
Oh, W2F. Damn, I'm in Southern California. Yeah. That sounds nice. Yeah, I'm Missouri. Missouri's always cold.
Oklahoma.
Yeah. So, oh well. What are you gonna do?
a power to it. If you could have a perfect relationship with the Lord and see its impact on humanity, that's what it would look like.
What we find out, though, is that victims of Shawn had reached out to Bethel leadership and asked them for help, and ultimately they decided, not our problem. And here's the thing. Pastors have to protect their people. If in my church somebody was targeting the flock there that I'm part of, I would feel the obligation to protect them, especially if you're the leader, you're the pastor, you're the supposed prophet. Chris is supposed to be the prophet of Bethel. Yet he's not protecting his people. His reputation is one of prophetic integrity. It's not real. Bill's reputation is one of safety. It's not real. And it needs to be exposed because it's a broader problem that goes bigger than Bethel, even though Bethel's really big. They're one of the most influential charismatic churches on the planet as far as other people taking their lead, learning their practices, and trying to copy them, which I find to be a hazardous path. So in 2022, right, a year approximately, not even quite a year before Bill Johnson goes and publicly endorses Shawn Bolz again on TBN, I have a secretly recorded conversation where Stacey Campbell, another one of the prophetesses in the charismatic movement, is giving a list of all the people in the leadership who know about Shawn and how dangerous Shawn is.
Bolz is utterly and totally dangerous. Patricia King, who told Che, and who told Chris Valentin, told these gross stories of sexual immorality of Shawn Bolz. I know this from Chris's direct mouth. He said, as far as I'm concerned, Shawn Bolz is a deceiver, and I will not have him back or trust him. And so I'm concerned for you because I love you. I'm giving you the warning that he's dangerous, his behavior is bad, he's been caught red-handed, and he's unrepentant. He's not only dangerous for the body of Christ, that a lot of times the people that affiliate with him go down when they go down. Every single bit of information that Shawn prophesied, you could find it on page 1 or page 2 if you just Googled, you could find the whole thing. And there was nothing that Shawn was prophesying that was That was what? That was from unknown revelation. It was holding on. And so he sent me a document, only 20 pages long. This is what Shawn said. This is on the front page of their Facebook pages. This is on the second page. If you Google the person that is their son, that you find out, I mean, it was all there, and it was highly incriminating. And in a court of law.
I'm going to play that recording for you later. This is a very, very big deal, because if they all knew and they wouldn't tell you guys, it uncovers something real about the fact that what else do they know? Who else do they know about? Because I'll tell you, I could give you a list of names of people who should be publicly called out and who, when leaders knew, didn't do it. They didn't do it with Todd Bentley when they should have done it. They didn't do it with Bob Hartley when they should have done it. They didn't properly do it with Paul Kane or Mike Bickle. Or I could just keep going on, or William Branham, if you want to go really back to people who died before I was born, It's been going on for a long time. So, if Bill would endorse Shawn.
Okay, we're going to take a moment here. I know people out there, too, from YouTube. Sweet, man. Sweet. Maybe you can tell us something about this whole short business that's going on. But anyway.
What short business?
The fact that the shorts are like getting a bunch of AI channels coming on, flooding shorts onto the channels,
Shorts are
wreaking
taking
havoc.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The AI channels and all this. Anyway, so I'm a little skeptical about the sexual immorality thing because
Yeah,
vague.
that phone call was extremely cut into tiny pieces, and it seems like he took it and, I don't know, frankly, to me, it sounded like a fake phone call, really.
Well, I don't know if it was fake, but he certainly heavily edited it. But my gut is going, okay, what sexual immorality? What happened? Again, I don't like it when they're. I mean, that could. Churches don't even agree on what sexual immorality is 50% of the time. I mean, what is that? What are you talking about?
Some of them simply holding somebody's hand is actually immoral.
Now, the second part of that was legitimate. It's like, okay, well, everything that he's prophesied you could find out on Facebook. It's like, okay, so what did he do? Did he, have plants in the audience and read their Facebook page? Is he memorizing everybody's Facebook page? Okay,
I've heard
so
of
he
them
can...
doing that.
I don't know anything about it. Elaborate. What happens?
Let's say a prophetic person is up on stage, and they're about to prophesy in the name of the Lord. Well, he's got a little earpiece hooked up,
Oh.
And in the background, behind somewhere where you don't see these people, there's a whole group of people on their computers. And they're doing facial recognition, or they've already had these people sign visitation papers or some sort of something to get their name somehow. And so they look them up on Facebook or whatever, and they get what information they can. Some of them even go as far as they have those background check websites. They'll background check people as they're prophesying over them.
I did not know that. That is fascinating.
They'll get fed this information, which is true, as they're prophesying, and then they tell these people that they have just met about their life.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's been been outed like that for a long time.
So that's possibly what she was talking about.
Yeah.
My point is, one accusation was specific and would warrant investigation. The other, it's to be blunt, it just kind of strikes me as gossip. I would have to know more, and I mean, we don't know yet, and that's kind of. I might be being too picky, but I'm kind of wishing he would lead with what exactly the accusations are, then make his case. Instead, he's doing this thing where he's building up how bad they are, and then slowly leaking what they did, which kind of, I don't know, that just strikes me as suspicious. I can't help it.
How far into the video is it?
We are 15 minutes in, sir.
So we're 15 minutes in, and we just found out that he did something sexually immoral.
But we don't know
That's all
what
we
that
know.
was.
We don't even know what it was.
And we know that he's looking up information on Facebook about people. And we can be nice and say he was probably like being fed that information in real time or something. Like, we'll go ahead and take a deductive leap and giving Mike Winger something of a benefit of the doubt, even though he hasn't explained it yet, which is suspicious. And we're not going to permanently give that benefit of the doubt. But just so we have a narrative to start with, we'll say he might have been being fed Facebook information in real time and calling it prophecy.
Yeah.
We'll say something like that must have been going on. Although we don't know that because Mike hasn't explained it.
Right.
So, but he might explain it here in a few minutes. We'll see. We'll give this another couple minutes before we call it a night.
Who else would he endorse while overlooking serious issues? Who else would he put up as an incredible, the life behind the book is just, it bears witness and all this kind of garbage, which is not true. I have even spoken to some of the leaders in the movement, and they told me, one of them in particular, I won't give his name, but a leader in the charismatic movement who told me, Mike, if we really start calling out all the guys that we know are doing like, they're not just have sin issues. I want to be gracious to leaders who have sin issues, because we all do, and so do I. But I mean people who are like, they're defrauding the people of God. They're lying in the name of God. Because if we were to call them all out, it would devastate. It would devastate our movement. We'll do it. Call them out. You have to. All of you have to do it. Stop making people who aren't even part of your movement do it. Do it yourselves. That will bring integrity back to your movement.
Which is what
This video, though, today's video is dedicated ultimately to the victim.
Which is kind of what we're doing right now. We're trying to figure out who we should call out, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if these accusations are even legitimate. Like, some have been, some haven't. And it's kind of the frustrating thing. It's like, when this whole thing Mike Winger's been doing started, like with the Benny Hinn stuff, I was like totally in his camp. Like, Benny Hinn needed to be called out. He needed to be called out for years. I was wanting somebody to call him out in 2010. I didn't have the technical prowess to do all this at that point, but know.
Yeah.
He's been a thorn in Christianity's side for forever. So I was very happy when Winger came out against him. I just, as this has gone on, it just seems like there's more and more reaching, But I mean, again, we're 15 minutes into a 5-hour video, So, I mean, who knows?
This for 3 nights.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm going to watch it. Because I want to know, because sometimes he does good work and sometimes he doesn't, in my opinion. But anyway, we'll give this a couple more minutes and then we'll call it a night.
Victims of Shawn Bolz, the many victims of Shawn Bolz. I've talked to 3 different people who had marriages that they entered into because Shawn prophesied to them to get married, even though they say they don't do that sort of thing. Apparently it happens a lot. And they were disasters. So they got married because of a prophecy, and it exploded in their faces, including one named Jubilee Dawn. Let's listen to her story now so you can get an idea of the people that I care about right now. Because I for priority of who is more to be cared for, loved, and protected right now, it is not Shawn Bolz. It is Jubilee Dawn. So we're going to look into what Jubilee Dawn says here. This is going to be her story. It's in detail. She got married because Shawn Bolz. She believed in Shawn Bolz because of Bill Johnson, and she almost was killed by her husband. That Shawn Bolz said God was giving her to that man.
I'm going to tell you about how it directly impacted my life and almost killed me. In 2015, I was dating a man, let's call him Ted, and we had only been dating for about a month. So this church conference happened, and I am still getting to know this guy. He was 10 years older than me. It's a long story, but essentially at this conference, my ex was called out by Shawn Bolz, and I am going to play that clip for you now.
When you handed me the phone last night, I saw 50, but I know that 50 is Jubilee year. There's something about God's giving you a Jubilee. What does that mean to you? Oh, your girlfriend's name is Jubilee. That's awesome. Well, God's giving you this girl. And when we ordered the food this morning, by the way.
So he starts off by, God's giving you a Jubilee. Well, He always acts shocked. You're going to see this many times. He always likes to act surprised. I don't believe a single one of these prophecies came from God. I think he's been data mining for years and years and years and years. I think he learned it from Paul Cain and Bob Jones and the other guys who did it before him. And that's my theory. Now, not everybody agrees with me. Not even everybody I've talked to agrees.
Okay, so he's speculating about the data mining thing, which is what you were talking about.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So this is a widespread thing, clearly.
Yeah. Have you ever been to a church and they hand out these little pamphlets, like visitor pamphlets that they have you fill out?
Yeah.
You write your name and your email and anything else that might be a little personal.
Right.
And like your phone number.
Yeah.
Well, they'll put that in their database, and then if they see you again, and they have information on you, they'll prophesy.
Interesting.
So that's probably how he came up with, oh, these two are dating, because she posted
something online
on Facebook. Hey, I'm dating this person.
Gotcha.
And he's like, hey, this couple looks promising. Let's prophesy over them.
That's fascinating. Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we're going to continue this, but not tonight, or at least not live tonight. So,
not alive tonight.
Yeah, not alive tonight. So, we're going to call it tonight unless you got any other final thoughts?
Nope.
I don't
Still
either.
Missing context.
Well, I think he's starting to get into it. I wish he'd led with it, but we're starting to get into it. So we're gonna see where this goes. We're not gonna quit. I'm gonna try to make it a point to not quit halfway through these videos like we've done in the past. So we'll try to react to the whole thing, even if it takes us like a billion weeks to do it.
That's fine.
We might have to make it transformative or whatever. I don't know, but yeah.
Stay up all night.
I'm curious. I'm curious. Yeah, stay up all night. I'm gonna do that anyway. So I have a cigar to smoke, Dad. Blame it. So
I'd have to go make another full pot of coffee.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up, guys. One more ad. The Familiar, my book. Buy it. I want money. So
we're in chat again.
So that's all we got, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate your time. Sweet Baby Bronson, thank you for interacting with us in the chat. We enjoyed having you. And until next week, well, we'll see you then.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Faith, Fiction, and Folklore. If you did, we would love it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Rumble. We can also be found on X, Instagram, and Facebook. And we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Thank you again very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.